End of the day, nobody knows who you are and they don't care. You got to give them reasons to believe to care.
People spend their times on the little screens, not the big screens. It just felt like just the last gasp of like, we're the biggest. You're not anymore.
Most brands, they're portraying themselves versus what is the customer's feeling? How is this going to help the customer?
The standing out part has a lot less to do with the brand, and the experience is everything with the brand.
Don't get so focused on this idea that like you have to have this perfectly cohesive experience across every medium when no one even knows who you are. Like you're just trying to get people to say, oh, that's interesting. And I'm actually not convinced that the ads are worse. I just think human behavior has changed.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. With me, as always, is Mark Goldhart, my co-host and companion. How are you, sir?
Companion feels a little too intimate, but
I think that we deserve that.
yeah, we can say companion.
Every time we travel, we share the same hotel room.
We do?
Not the same bed, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. But I would say, look,
Those
we've been doing this since
get a little cold.
2015 together, dude.
That's true.
We're on 11 years. I've been married to my wife 5 years longer. So
I have been married to my wife the exact same amount of time. I've known my wife that amount of time.
So I'm just saying.
Priorities.
I think
right.
that saying companion is just fine.
And we have never hung out at each other's houses.
Really?
You've come and worked at my house.
Yeah.
But
We've
yeah,
never hung out.
we need to have you over for a little barbecue. A little barbecue and a swim.
That wasn't a complaint.
No, it's very true. We've talked about this before. Like, we're business partners. We have a very good relationship because sometimes, and I would call you my friend as well. I would hope you would.
I would consider you one of my
consider me.
greatest friends.
I would as well. Yet we
But
are the
we don't need
greatest.
to hang out.
We are the greatest, bestest of friends that never hang out.
We're besties that don't hang out.
So the therapy session.
And
now.
that's a relationship right there, if you ask me. Well, listen.
Well, the same way I don't think couples, like if you're married to someone, you don't have to like everyone says you have to have the same hobbies. I don't believe in that. I actually think it's good that you have separate hobbies. I think it's good that like a wife can do her thing. Like my wife dances.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be going to a dance class with her. Even though I took tap dance.
If she
as a
asked you,
child.
would you? If she asked you, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she likes to like go do a ballet class and like have her little time.
See, I like more hobbies with my wife. We do have very separate hobbies, which is great. But
Recently, I like to go to Pokemon card
more.
stores and buy Pokemon cards with my boys. She's not into that.
we got to introduce our guests. We've like gone into tangents.
Let's do it.
And we have this like third voice talking over
We're
here.
excited for this guest.
Yeah, very exciting guest. So if you're hearing little giggles over here, we've got Blake Brown, the head of brand at Kuru Footwear. Kuru Footwear is a shoe company that is focused on improving foot pain.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd I do?
No, it's fine. That was
Hired?
great. Yeah.
We're hired?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You're
get
hired.
it. We get it.
Yeah.
We get the brand message now.
Here's your scope. Here's
Nice.
the scope.
Yeah, head of brand,
Nailed
former brand guy over at True Classic Tees and Kizik, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you're at Kuru. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I've been trained by design. I've been a designer for, 20 years. So I've kind of moved up the ranks for the 20 years. So I'm kind of insatiable about learning new things. And so it wasn't just always design. I got into motion graphics. I got into cinematography. I got into packaging. I got into all these things because I was just obsessed about experiences, right?
Yeah.
And so it kind of led the playing field for me personally as I got to the stages that I'm at. And half of it's luck, half of it's hard work and talent. And so for me, it's mostly just about I worked at HP. I worked at a couple boutique agencies. I worked at, Shy Day in LA and freelance for Ogilvy in Chicago. So I was kind of just like, any ways I can learn to do new things or learn to express the creativity. That was kind of my number one thing.
Nice.
For me. So
Very cool.
yeah.
And what are you doing now at Kuru? Like, what's your main mission at Kuru?
So right now is trying to, footwear is probably one of the hardest games to play, because it's just really saturated with the Nikes, the New Balances, the On Running, the this brand, that brand, whatever, right?
Well, and there's a lot of trust, I feel like, that goes into a
Totally.
shoe, like a shoe brand. So
Totally.
whereas like a clothing boutique, it's really easy for a no-name clothing boutique to break through.
Oh, totally.
Because like you don't need a lot of trust in a t-shirt.
Yeah, totally.
But a shoe, yeah, I figured.
Yeah, and I think a shoe that has there's a lot of similarities with creating category, right? And so with footwear, there's not a lot of opportunities to create categories. And so specifically at Kizik, when Alex brought me on at Kizik, it's like the shoes weren't for me, but I saw the potential of what this could be. I was like, I haven't seen anything like this in footwear in forever, right? And so for me, I saw that opportunity and excitement around creating a category. And we were lucky enough to be able to create that category. Obviously now with other competitors trying to get into that space and, Skechers and so forth. But I think we were able to create a category that could be ownable. So same thing with Kuru now is similar thing, but with a different reasoning behind it, right? Because the whole preface of shoes, most people don't understand that shoes inside of the shoe are pretty much flat.
Yeah.
Most brands give you these flimsy paper, fabric, insole type of thing. And so with us, we actually have technology in the shoe because most people don't realize that your heels are round, but their shoes are flat. So when you put your round heel into a flat shoe, you're just going to be like, this is going to displace the pain throughout my foot over time, right?
Yeah.
And so as the older you get, you're going to develop more plantar fasciitis, neuropathy, or other things like that. And so for me, is improving people's lives by a product that has a purpose, right?
Cool.
So it's try to be able to blend the brand and the style, and then also with the function.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Very cool.
Has it been surprising to you how many people will accept pain in order to wear something that looks good?
Yeah, you ask your wives or your sisters or anybody wearing high heels.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Historically, they'd be like, I'd rather. I mean, most people probably do this. Be like, I will suffer through the pain because I know I look good.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to. You don't need to sacrifice that. You can still have a trend right type of shoe that fits your style and your aesthetic, but then also feel comfortable all day, right?
Yeah.
So, like if you're walking at Disneyland all day, the last thing you're going to wear is high heels.
Yeah.
You want to have, like, if you're walking 20, 30,000 steps, you're like, I don't want to hate my life after.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Because I feel like New Balance kind of went through that, right?
Yeah.
Like they were the kind of the old man shoe. Then they had to retell their story in a way that resonated with more people.
Oh, totally.
This podcast is brought to you by BFF Creative. BFF Creative is a software that meets services. Any marketing collateral you need, whether that's ads, emails, print designs, or social media, all you have to do is submit a request and one of BFF Creative's qualified designers will create a design for you and it'll be completed in 2 to 3 days. BFF Creative allows you to submit as many requests and as many revisions as you can with just one monthly fee. And the best part is that it's month to month. No contracts, no hidden fees, no nothing. And if you use promo code Unstoppable30, you'll get 30% off for your first month on us. Just go to bffcreative.co, pick your plan, and sign up today. Not that this is going to be entirely everything we want to go into today, but I just have to ask this because we hear this feedback all the time. As a brand guy, people on the brand side, typically as we've worked with them, hate talking about features.
Yeah.
Because they feel like it impacts the brand in a negative way because they want to show, it's almost like they want a more of a visual appealing thing to be the brand versus this is what it does and how it fixes things. As a brand guy who is marketing literally a shoe that is primarily based around the features, right? I would guess, right? At Kuru, I'm not buying Kuru priority number one for what it looks like on the outside, but for what it does on the inside. And then I hope that the outside looks good too.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Traditionally, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So walk me through this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think most brands where you kind of get caught in kind of bottom of funnel type of, features and benefits and things like that. But most people want to talk like, I don't know, there's so many different types of messages that you can say that are going to resonate with people, right? So it's like top of funnel. Are you going to talk about all the features, benefits, this and that? You want to have one clear message that you're trying to portray to create that mental availability.
Yeah.
So how are we going to have one message that are going to people know who we are and what we do, and then we follow up like why would they should care about us, right? What's so different about us? Because I think what most brands do is they are so self in love with themselves that they're portraying themselves versus what is the customer's feeling, how is this going to help the customer? So looking through the lens of the customer is because I think marketing 101 is like, you are not the audience. I think you did a video once and I think I commented on that of like, and I struggle with this. I think most marketers struggle with this. It's not just a standalone thing, but I think in terms of most marketers, say like, this is how I would perceive the brand, right?
Yeah.
And what we should do. But does that mean it's going to resonate with them? Probably not.
Yeah.
Majority of the time. You might get lucky here and there, but long-term wise.
Yeah, we call it marketing to marketers.
Yeah.
Right? It's like very few brands are marketing to marketers out there.
Yeah, the feature, end of the day, if you like compare it feature by feature from this brand, from like a On Running to a Nike, they're all going to be semi-similar.
Yeah.
The construction of the shoes are always pretty much the same. You might have different, suede or leather or this or that. It's on par. But the bigger meaning for that brand to live is creating a tribe around that, right? And so that's the hardest thing to do, especially like not just footwear, but unilaterally.
Sure.
It's not really hard to do. But
Well, I think what you said earlier is key because you're head of brand, but like what is a brand? And you talked about how really it's what is the experience you want people to have, because you were obsessed with giving people an experience early in your career, and that just builds into a brand. So we'd love to hear about how do you think about that?
Yeah, depending on who you ask, you're going to probably get different things, right? It's like, you might have some growth marketers that say it's, based impressions over time, right? But it's like, no, really what it comes down to, Marty Neumeier is probably one of my favorite guys. He wrote the Brand Gap and Zig and Zag and all these ones. He's, old school kind of brand guy. And which I think the biggest thing is it's the impression of the customer on how they view you, right? What is the feelings that they have around you? Like you can have a similar product, but at the same time, it's like, what is that feeling that they're having and how is this product making their lives better? So to me, it's a summation of really about what is the customer's intent, like feeling about you, even if they've never bought it. So like Liquid Death, for example, I love the brand. Funny enough, I've never had their product. Because it's a commodity. So to me, it's like, yeah, there's water. They have all these different, features. But to me, I love it because, I've had their shirts and some of their hats and stuff like that. But to me, I've never had the product. I still love the brand.
Yeah.
And I love how out of this world they are. And I know a lot of people use them as reference, especially taking risks. Mm-hmm. But I think at the end of the day, because they're looking at the category and looking at like Fuji Water, Aquafina, all these other brands, they're all saying the same thing and how they deliver it and how they express it. And they're like, F this, we can still sell water, but doing it a different way.
Yeah.
That's ownable to us.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
It. Yeah. We have these, we're performance marketers. And so like we're always having these discussions around brand and is the performance marketing we're doing impacting the brand in a positive or a negative way, and so we love getting somebody who's on the other end of the spectrum here to kind of.
Well, I think at times I can be that guy that's kind of a little snobby, but to me, it's like, remove your ego out of it. It's like, what's going to be best for the business to grow? And sometimes you're going to have to make concessions, right? To be like, this is the most ugly ad, but most of the time, the most ugly ad performs the best, right? And depending on what stage you are, you're still irrelevant to the market.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for us as marketers, whether you're on the brand or the growth or acquisition side, it's more about how are we going to cut through the noise, right? How are we going to cut through whatever platform it is? How are we going to cut through to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know this, or wow, I need to look at this, or wow, I didn't know this was a problem. I need to, and then you go down funnel and stuff like that and how you market it, right?
Yeah.
But I think where most brands will succeed is yes, there's a time where how do you grow to the point where you're not solely focused on CAC only, or how do you grow organically, or word of mouth, or all these other things that are going to, your ad ratio isn't going to be killing you over time, your profitability and your EBITDA and all these things. So I think it depends on what stage, but I think it's just like, there's a lot of things like, that sucked, that I don't like that. But also go back to what I said earlier about, I'm not the audience sometimes, majority of the time.
Yeah.
But yes, it's clear. We talk about the value props, the propositions, and all these things. And it's like, it worked, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Move on. Try something new.
Yeah.
And I think where most marketers as well is when you over strategize, or when you over like, hey, let's spend the 6 months and crafting everything perfect. To me, it's more about, I'd rather be scrappy and try things, see if it works. And if it doesn't, you try your hypothesis and say like, hey, we have this simple idea. We hope it's going to have high value. Let's try it, see if it works. If it doesn't, we learn something.
Yeah.
But I don't want to wait 6 months to get to some perfect strategy, because there's never a perfect strategy. I think over time, depending on your scale, if you're under 50 million, you're just trying to like find your way through the muck and the mud of whether you're in CPG, D2C, whatever it is. You're just trying to work yourself to find what works and what doesn't work.
I think what I've come down to, like, as I've had these conversations, we've been doing this for as long as we've been doing this, it's like, there's two things you need to do. One, you just need to find a way to stand out, and two, you need to control the experience the best way possible. Yeah. Right. And the standing out part has a lot less to do with the brand, and the experience is everything with the brand.
Totally.
Right. And so at the end of the day, like you said, you referenced Marty Neumeyer. My favorite book I've ever read is Zag, which just explains this idea that things, in order for things to be work, they can't just be good. They also have to be different.
Oh, totally.
And if they're different, they'll stand out.
Yeah.
Right. So you brought up like, hey, ugly ads work right now because they look different from the polished, thing that everyone else is doing. Yeah. And so when they see something like that, they're like, oh, what the heck? Like, have you seen ads nowadays where people use paint? Do you remember the old Microsoft? Was it called Paint?
Yeah.
It looks like it's from Paint. And so all of a sudden somebody looks at it, they're like, what the heck? I haven't seen this since the 90s.
We did something similar during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, where we just like, this ad is ugly, but our shoes aren't. And like, it's probably one of the best performing. And it took 3 minutes to do.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's really how you look at it. It's like, I need to get somebody to stop. Yeah. And then how do I control the experience that they're going to have, from website to the purchase experience, to the time they make a purchase, to the time they get it, to once they get it, what's that like? Obviously the product has to speak volumes, and it has to match their expectations or more.
And another thing too, to that point, is removing friction. Yeah. Because there's so much added friction, especially in they see an ad. Oh, I'm interested in this. I'll go to the site. Okay, you're trying to over-explain everything. Yeah. I'm not like, if you get to a point where like, okay, I'm bought in, I'm going to try these. It's building trust and credibility. Yeah. Even post-purchase as well, right? So it's like, you're like, if you go through that cycle and you're like, oh, I had this terrible experience, I'm going to call customer service. That last touch point with that customer service, if it is not amazing or great, you've ruined everything else you've done before that, right? And so that's why every step of the experience has to be really fine-tuned in terms of, because when someone wants to purchase and they go through a bad experience, they're just like, well, I'm not going to talk to people about this brand, or I don't want to experience this brand. I'm not going to talk about them. Yeah. Why would I?
Yeah, I always say that just brand is just trust. Yeah. Like, it's just the trust you've built with an audience. Yeah. And most brands get caught up. For example, polished versus unpolished.
Yes.
Liquid Death, whenever they have an ad, it's a polished ad. Yeah. But they're just very different. Yeah. It's not an ugly. They don't do a lot of ugly ads that stand out. Like, I don't recall anyone, but the ones that they do that stand out are high production, technically.
Yes, that's what he means by, I was going to say that. When you say polish, you're saying it's a high production thing. It doesn't look like it was done.
So like you said, it's the point is just being good and different. Sometimes that's an ugly ad. Sometimes that's a polished or, high production ad. But how do you stand out? And then if you're under 50 million, you haven't even gotten to the point, like, you haven't entered the general public consciousness. Like, you're not.
There's an argument to make that under like 150 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even a billion. Yeah.
When Kizik was like on the rise, I remember like we were in California and I was just like, I'm going to start asking people because I wanted to prove this point, you know? And so we were meeting with a ton of people.
Not as a dig.
No, not as a dig.
Kizik, but just
they were a darling in Utah,
Yeah.
right? A 9-figure business, which people would say they've got it together, right? You think, you know? And we were asking everybody. We were there for like 4 or 5 days. And we were at tons of meetings. We were at Shopify events. And, you know, we're asking, have you heard of Kizik? Have you heard of Kizik? And I would say 90% of the people we talked to did not hear about it. And we were 2 states over.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing with Ridge Wallets.
Yeah, yeah.
totally.
Who's doing
Like outside of our bubble, you go talk to if I go to my family and say, hey, do you guys know who Ridge Wallets? Like my one brother does probably because he has one.
Yeah.
He was given one.
Yeah.
But everyone else would probably be like, what?
But they're killing it.
Oh, this thing. And then if you showed them the product, they'd be like, oh yeah, I think I've seen
people
with
with that
people with
wallet
that.
or-
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've come across an ad. But they're not like, oh yeah, Ridge, this brand.
Yeah.
And that's not a dig at Ridge. Like
No.
they're killing it. They're doing great. They
Oh,
do
yeah.
a lot of good things. But again, don't get so focused on this idea that like you have to have this perfectly cohesive experience across every medium when no one even knows who you are. Like you're just trying to get people to say, oh, that's interesting.
90% of the struggle is internally, right?
Yeah.
Is getting alignment. You know, everyone has an opinion. That is most people, we're all our own worst enemies. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's someone else, sometimes it's the founder, sometimes it's this, and this. But the end of the day that you can't dispute is, what are we doing for the customer?
Yeah,
Like, who's
for
the
sure.
customer of like that we have now? Who's the customer we want in 5 years?
Yeah.
What are we trying to solve? How are we going to stand out? Like, how
And
do
are we
be-
actually getting them to come
Are
look
we
at
getting?
us?
Yeah.
And are they coming back?
Yeah.
You know, or if they're not coming back, if you don't have like a repeatable, are they telling other people about it?
Yeah.
Right.
What- I mean-
I've always said it's kind of like just telling a joke. Like some people are funny in certain moments, but if you're at a house party, like your initial interaction with someone isn't exactly who that person is on a deeper level.
Oh yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. It's okay. Like everyone kind of has that introductory level or layer, and some people are a little bit more jolly in that kind of basic, I don't want to say basic, but just introductory
Hey,
stage.
how are
Initial
you?
phase, yeah.
Great.
And then some people are better at like, hey, once you get to know them, it's like, oh, I really like hanging out with you. You know, there's some layers here
Yeah.
that I resonate with.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get to that point if you don't have an initial, oh, that's interesting. I want to know more about this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's the same thing with a brand.
It's the same thing. I mean, there's the analogy because, you know, I have a music background and I've loved music too. It's like, what was the last time you heard of a band or music group or whatever that you're like, I got to tell everyone I know that I think they will love it too. I love music. There's very rarely now in terms of same thing goes with the brand, right? It's like, does the same feeling I have for music or a band be like, oh, I got to tell my buddies about this, or I know my wife liked this kind of music. I think she'd like this, and I got to show her. But I think most people is like the same thing with brands. It's like, oh, I got to show you this brand that is just hilarious, or I thought of you, right? And so the beautiful thing about Kizik too is like our word of mouth was insane. It was like 20% of I think sales at one point were.
I think it was more than that.
It's probably more than
guys
that.
were running-
Yes.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
were
I
running
was
your
gonna-
surveys. It
yeah.
was like 35% of your sales or more. Yeah.
Because what happens is when you have that experience on the product level of like stepping into shoes, you have this immediate reaction to be like, oh, I'm going to think about my parents,
My kids,
my
like,
kids,
yeah.
my pregnant sister, my whoever. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got Christmas covered. I'm going to buy 10 pairs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the beautiful thing of the extension past the post purchase of like, you know, how's this going to live on for as long as we can.
Yeah, the product's everything in that scenario.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
awesome.
of,
Do you want to transition?
there was a big event last weekend called the Super Bowl, where
Yeah.
many brands
There's so many home runs. It was amazing.
spent a lot of money trying to
Woo,
crack into the minds of an audience.
Yes.
the attention.
And I have some hot takes about it.
Well, let's get into it.
So we would love to hear your takes about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're grading, so we were just talking about this in the office yesterday. Like, the Super Bowl used to be a time where I would say you'd have 20% of the people watching it, maybe 30% of the people watching it were
Just
like,
for-
Well, I was gonna say I'm here for the game. This is cool. Like I love football. I like the teams. And then you get like another like 50% who are like, I just like football. I'm ready for this. This is like like me. I didn't care about the Patriots. I didn't care about the Seahawks. But it's a Super Bowl.
General sport fans.
I'm gonna watch it the same way I watched the NBA Finals. The same way I watched.
Yeah.
And then but I feel like you had like 30% of people who were like, I watch strictly for the commercials.
Commercials and halftime.
In the halftime show. Yeah. Like my brother-in-law is one of those. Like the other, he is not an athletic guy at all. And he was the other day, I was asking him like, what's your favorite holiday? He said the Super Bowl. He said the Super Bowl is his favorite holiday because he just like loves getting together with family, eating a bunch of, it's always appetizers, I feel like usually,
Really?
and he's like, and I love the commercials. That's what he said.
Just an appetizer kind of guy, huh?
And I thought, I did not expect that from him.
That's crazy.
Good for you.
But yeah, I feel like I feel like over the last 5 years, it has been such a bummer.
Yeah.
And this year to me was the biggest bummer of all bummers.
Yeah.
I mean,
So the question is why? Or first of all, did any commercial stand out? Do you feel like there was a commercial that
Well,
brought you in?
I have two that did for me that I liked.
so obviously I thought like the Pepsi one was interesting and how they did it, but also it could backfire in terms of using the mascot. They brought this old kind of Coke versus Pepsi back, the old taste test.
The taste test, yeah.
I think back in the 90s or whatever.
Yeah,
when
the
they
90s
did
was
that.
big.
Like late 90s.
Early 2000s too.
But using their own kind of mascot that is not trademarked or ownable, using that as a through line, I thought was interesting.
How is that going to come bite them in the butt? What do you mean? Because I love that they brought the Coca-Cola mascot in.
Well,
as it like that was one of the ones that stood out to me.
It's bit a few brands in the butt when they do this. So Burger King has tried it. Pepsi has tried similar things in the past.
Burger King tried it with what?
McDonald's.
Against McDonald's, they kind of used McDonald's branding, something about like golden arches or something. I can't remember exactly. But
they've done a bunch. They've done a lot of stunts too.
They're trying to like turn their branding and be like, oh, but us. But ultimately, when you do that, you're recognizing that they're the number one.
The mental ability, like the cognitive load of like Pepsi, but I'm also thinking of Coke.
Yeah, like, oh, you're telling me that Coke is more recognized than you. And like you're kind of like using them to boost yourself up, which can be funny, but does it really build your brand in an actionable way, I guess?
Yep.
Sure.
So I'd agree. I thought it was interesting, but does a jujitsu move like that really work in the way you think it does as a marketer or as a company when in the minds of a consumer, they're probably all thinking at the end of that, Coca-Cola.
Yeah. I mean, another one that,
Well,
I'm going to go kind of back because it's top of mind in my mind right now is the Coinbase one was we were at my in-laws house at my wife's parents' house, watching the Super Bowl. My wife had to go to the bathroom. Then this Backstreet Boys like karaoke thing came on, and not until halfway through, I was like, we're her whole family and us were all yelling at her because we knew she was a Backstreet Boys fan, and so we're like, Tina, come out here, and but halfway through, people started singing it, and at the end, it was like, how is this relevant? To what you're doing in terms of like, towards the end, you're like, oh, it's this, it's a karaoke type of thing, and you're like, Coinbase?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is this? What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
It's like the one they did, I don't think it was last year, maybe the year before, when they did the whole QR code thing. I thought that was interesting because it was like, it's different.
Yeah, the QR code was interesting.
QR code was
and you're
good.
like, oh, what is this? I'm going to scan it.
Yeah.
So at least it was actionable.
Yeah.
With this Backstreet Boys one, it was like, oh, wow. And another thing I noticed too is like how many ballads there were in the commercial. So like Liquid IV had a toilet ballad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my second one that I liked.
And then
the best.
Manscaped, I don't know if you saw the Manscaped one. I like that because it was kind of disgusting because it was like body hair on the floor and there was like, they turned the hair into puppets.
Oh.
And
yeah,
it was pretty gross. Those two were very similar to me.
I thought that was like the most visually one that stood out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was gross.
Yes.
Because everyone hates, I especially hate hair that's not on a body.
Yeah, even if it's your own.
Hair on
like-
the ground. Ooh,
Yeah, even if it's your own.
hate it.
Yeah. So I mean, there were so. I mean, they're like with like the Backstreet Boys. I was like, I noticed kind of a theme for maybe 5 or 6 of them. I was like, there's music driven on a lot of them,
Yeah.
or ballads, or you
Yeah.
know, try to make using music as a part
Yeah.
of it. It wasn't like narration only type of thing. I thought the Bud Light one was interesting as well, just cinematography wise, of taking like the juxtaposition of these kind of like with Shane Gillis and
Yeah.
Peyton Manning and these guys disrupting a wedding. And I thought it was interesting. I know they're trying as a brand, because of their history of the last couple of years, been not so great.
Sure.
And so they're trying to rebuild that
Yeah.
trust that
Yeah.
was lost to their audience, right?
Yeah.
Am I the audience? No.
Yeah.
But I can see what they're trying to do, get back to the roots of trying to get like, you know, with Post Malone and all this
Yeah,
too.
they're trying to get the bros back.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel like they've done a good job at that. I'd
Yeah.
be curious to know what their numbers are like. I haven't looked at them since
Yeah.
the whole issue.
Well, their numbers aren't good because drinking's gone down.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
So like,
Billions
I
of
guess
dollars.
that's true.
like has their numbers improved? Probably not.
Yeah.
when you add that variable into it.
When you just say that the overall industry
Yeah.
of drinking is down.
Yeah.
But in general, like looking at the summation of what is the goal for a Super Bowl ad, right?
Well, that's a good question. So Coinbase, I think Coinbase, the goal is to legitimize your brand.
Mm-hmm.
And more so legitimize your space. So it's different than you're trying to get consumers. You're trying to get people to say, oh, they're a legitimate thing because they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well,
That's all their motive is. Like, I don't think they're converting anybody
No.
to go into Coinbase, but they're trying to say, hey, this is a legitimate thing. And did they accomplish that? Probably-ish, you know, like as long as people remember it was Coinbase at the end,
Yeah. End of the day is, I think
that's all they care about.
it's like any top funnel thing. It's like mental availability of like,
Yeah.
oh, I've never heard of this brand, or I've heard of this brand. Oh, that was fun. They're top of mind. So if I'm in, it's the 95-5 rule, right? Where it's like 95% of that people aren't going to be in market that day. Some
Yeah.
might, but I think in summation, it's like when you're shopping or whatever the product was, there's that mental availability in their head to say like, oh, I remember the Super Bowl ad. I'm going to associate that
Yeah.
to this purchase.
Did you ever read Thinking Fast or Slow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just repetition
Yeah.
and availability. So the more you repeat a message or, you know, the more people see you, the more they associate you with truth in their mind, which is trust. Like, oh, that's legitimate, you know? Like, that's why Coke doesn't care. Back in the day, I mean, they would spend ads everywhere. Like, their label is everywhere, even though everyone's already drinking them. And the reason why is they know that number. They know, like, it's just like a mass equation of just making sure people see you X amount of times. McDonald's, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in the movies. They're in the, yeah.
Which AI company won?
Personally, for me, I thought it was, Claude did a good job, but for the mass market, I don't know if it hit. The only reason I think those work only if you've experienced using.
Can you explain that a
ChatGPT.
little better? So you're saying mass market, so it did well hitting for the professional class.
Well, for people that use ChatGPT, so for current users that are using AI or chatbots or whatever it is, right? There's a lot of people using it, but the people that don't use it, they're not going to associate, oh, this other person is the respondent of like the ChatGPT response. And so I thought that was kind of pithy, but also like the time, because I think it was like barely announced that ChatGPT was going to like start like advertising because they're just burning money left and right, right? And so they use that as a fuel to that fire. And so for me, that hit because I've experienced that feeling using ChatGPT, of like being spoken to like a robot, kind of like that's a great idea, Blake, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, no, that's not what I asked. This is the simple thing I asked you for, you know? And I know they're trying to add this humanistic thing to it. So I like the juxtaposition of putting that conversation in real life was interesting to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was for me.
Yeah.
But the people that aren't, you know, I don't know the numbers, but in terms of like, is everyone on ChatGPT? No. there's a certain probably a skew of audience that
I think it's super obvious that Gemini is going to win
Yeah.
from a mass appeal. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just everyone still Googles.
But that's what I was going to say. It's just simply because
Like
of the
professional early adopters, you know, Claude, it's a battle between Claude and ChatGPT. I think Claude's winning. But like my mom, general people out there that are just like it's already built in. Like you Google things, and now Google is already giving you the AI summation, like summations, and then they'll just probably get gravitated into just Gemini. That's my personal thought. But I thought the only one from like a experience perspective that drew me in was OpenAI, the first person ad. So it was it starts with like a kid, like, you know, it's like this person like growing up, and it's like their hands, and they're like building things, and like they get older and older and older, and it's like on a computer. And it was just like, that was the only one that I noticed my kids, I have 2 boys, 8 and 5. Mm-hmm. It was the only one that they kind of got like absorbed into as well. Like the first person perspective was interesting.
Interesting. I don't remember seeing
I
it.
think that resonates with younger audiences because of video games.
Oh, totally.
Personally.
Well, this brings up another one of like the Salesforce one with Mr. Beast, where it's like that audience was teenagers.
Yeah, like who are you advertising
I was like,
to?
why is Salesforce? What? This is weird.
Yeah.
Why, like, giving away $1 million? They're like,
Matthew
are you guys
McConaughey
trying?
makes sense for you, but
Are you trying to get Slack to be Discord now? To use like, are you trying to get people to be like, oh, we're going to get teenagers or kids that are in this Discord, fandom to be like, oh, $1 million, I'm going to find the code, right?
Yeah.
So it's smart on their behalf, but it was also kind of weird juxtaposition because of Salesforce, but they're trying to target a younger audience to get more Slack users.
Yeah.
Or how do we get a younger audience using Slack?
Yeah.
also Salesforce and Slack, there's kind of an ick factor, I think, for a younger audience. Like just the idea of a company called Salesforce. Like no young person likes sales at all or wants to be sold to, and you're trying to sell them. Like it's just a hard brand to convert young audience to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And totally different audience than what you've been doing. I mean, you're a B2B enterprise software.
How do we be relevant? Let's get Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Right.
So that one was weird. But overall, kind of a dud across the board, but it's been a dud for a while, and I have a hot take for that.
Yeah, I'd love to see her.
I don't know if it's because the ads are worse. And I'm actually not convinced that the ads are worse. I just think human behavior has changed.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's my hot take. Like everyone wants to rag on like the creative and like, oh, they're just not standing out enough. And I'm like, how do you stand out when you can sit on a toilet and take a dump and see 10 videos that make you laugh and mad and everything in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you're trying to catch their attention in a Super Bowl ad. It's like people just aren't even, like people are so back and forth with their phones anyways. I just don't think the expectation for a Super Bowl ad, for example, Coinbase, I think the expectation has changed now. It's simply, this is a repetition play. I don't know, maybe advertising, like the cost of it's going to go down. I don't know, but I don't think the ads have gotten worse. I just think our behavior and how we consume media has changed so dramatically since 2018 that you just can't even compare the two.
The thing I was thinking was like, if social media, that as a media outlet wasn't around, would those ads now be better or worse?
Exactly.
I think the answer is yes, right? So I agree with what you're saying because 5 years ago, 6 years ago, seeing funny things from companies almost didn't exist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like everything was pretty serious from companies, and the only place you would experience that was over the Super Bowl. Now you see funny things and entertaining things that are coming from creators and brands. Like you said, you can see 50 of them in a 10-minute time frame. And so
the bar has been risen because the availability of the market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you. I actually think all the AI companies won because it put more of a legitimate, like, hey, we have the
trying
money.
to legitimize
We
AI.
have the money to do this. Therefore, you should trust us with the things that scare you. So for the people who aren't using AI right now, it's scary. For the people who aren't putting money into certain things, Coinbase is scary, right? So I think not that Coinbase is an AI company, but I think the technology-ish
But it's an
companies,
emerging technology.
I think those were the ones that won from simply the, okay, now I know I can trust that, like, the Super Bowl is not going to let a brand like that advertise if it's not safe for me to put my money in something like that.
And there's going to be huge wealth
You know.
transfer, right? So
Yes.
Coinbase needs to be legitimate for boomers because they need boomers to start getting
They
money.
need that money, yeah.
To get put into the crypto space.
Yes. So, yeah, I think you're totally right. I just don't think the Super Bowl is what the Super Bowl.
And do you want to know what it else felt? It also felt like to me, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, Blake. It felt like the last dying breath of traditional advertising. Now, what I mean by that is the gap between the digital and traditional space is no longer. I mean, I don't think it's existed for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But this putting this extra value on this traditional space on TV, this legitimacy has gone down so fast because of user behavior. It's just one other medium.
Yeah.
But people spend all their time over here, right? Like people spend their times on the little screens, not the big screens. And so that's what it felt like to me, is like, oh, this is just a dying, or maybe not totally dead, but it's just
Plateaued?
not, yeah, it's definitely declined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at viewership numbers across the board, right? Like everything's gone down except for live sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
And even live sporting events over the last 4 years have been going down. So anyways, you look at it and I just say, that's what it felt like. It just felt like just the last gasp of like, we're the biggest thing. It's like, you're not anymore. You know, the TV ads aren't the biggest thing anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just another thing.
I agree with you. And that's the kind of the sad part, maybe because I'm an old traditional guy too. Like there's a time and place for like out of home, events and, things that are sticky, that'll be memorable. But I also think that with the traditional space, it is compounded through other like digital channels, right? Where, there's 130 million people that watched the Super Bowl last week. Okay, this production for this commercial is going to be between, production only is maybe 800,000 to 3 million, right? For example. And then you have the media buying space of that is, 6 to 10 million. So next thing you know you're just like the ratio of people watching what it cost, the value of the cost to the availability of the ad and cutting through the
Just
noise.
the impressions,
Impressions of it. It'd be like the mental availability. For $15 million on a digital front, I mean, you could terrorize.
Do a lot more.
You can terrorize.
Yeah.
You could 20 to 50x your reach and maybe your clicks and then actionable results too, right? Like, I mean, you can and again, I'm not saying traditional is dead completely.
Yeah.
It's just another medium is what I'm trying to say. It's just not like the main space
like it used to be.
be. Like, hey, if you're on TV, you're legitimate. Like, it's still kind of there for the older audience to legitimize, like Coinbase and newer industries or technologies. But like, you didn't see, like, Coca-Cola doesn't care anymore, obviously. Like, they're not really advertising in Super Bowls. Like, you don't really see.
Yeah.
They're such a heritage brand too. They've been around for generations.
Like, was Nike?
No.
But Nike does, I mean, they're on the field.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
they just do sponsorships, but like, you don't see.
But Coca-Cola legitimizes themselves in different ways. Like I said, when was the last time you watched a movie and somebody had a Pepsi? Like, it's always Coke. So like, that's where they'll put themselves in every TV show, in every
distribution.
Distribution.
Like, they are the best at distribution. Where they show up. Oh, I only have this option. Well, I'm going to go with this Coke.
Yeah, exactly. They're in all the McDonald's. They're in the.
So the mental availability.
You go to a sporting event, it's Coke. Yeah.
Yes, very rarely is it Pepsi.
Yeah.
So
And when it is Pepsi, ugh.
Yeah. I don't drink soda. So.
No offense to the Pepsi people, but too sweet.
compared to Coke.
Yeah. Coke's just perfect.
Just
Also, I was thinking about this after going to McDonald's yesterday. He doesn't go to McDonald's. I go to McDonald's. I don't care. I admit it.
yeah.
Everyone else says it's
I got
gross.
no shame. I got little kids. You're like, I'm too lazy to cook
Everyone
dinner.
says McDonald's is gross, and yet I don't see any of them shutting down.
No.
So clearly we're all going.
I do think they're not doing as good. But I don't know if that's from a McDonald's perspective or from a health people, like kind of like the alcohol
inflation.
situation.
Well, no,
There's
I think
a
it's
lot
more
of-
of just inflation. Like their prices were rising.
Yeah.
But dude, I had to wait. Like it was busy. We came home from skiing. Anyways, long story short, I got a Coke from McDonald's, the best soda you can possibly get. We're not going to go into why,
Oh, I'll tell you why.
but it's just the perfect brand marriage, McDonald's and
Between
Coke,
the two, yeah.
right? Which going to collaborations, we can talk about that for branding next. But how does Swig exist when a McDonald's Coke exists? I don't even get it. Like you can't get better than a McDonald's Coke. It's perfect. People want to go to Swig and mix a bunch of stuff into a soda.
Yeah, it's just different.
I'm just saying it's crazy. That's crazy to me.
It's just different, you know?
Yeah,
McDonald's
why have
Coke-
just a regular Coke when I could put creamer and peaches and puree
Then it
and
just makes it worse.
well, depending on
To me,
Not for the majority of people, bud.
yeah.
Bucko.
crazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that as I was drinking that Coke. I'm like, man, this is just perfect.
Yeah, I think the lesson here is
People are going to pay $6 just to put stuff in it.
I think the lesson here for sure is just advertising has changed. Like I think that's I've been saying this for a while. Like it's never been harder. Well, in 2018, it was never easier to stand out, but never harder to start a business.
Oh, totally.
It's the reverse now.
Yeah.
In 2026, it's never been harder to stand out. It's never been easier to
start.
start a business.
Yeah.
Which just means that compounds on the problem with standing out.
Yeah.
Right. So
And I think the ability for brands to take risks, right?
yeah.
Especially at that smaller, under 50 million, 150 million,
Yeah.
whatever number you want to put towards it,
Yeah.
is the usually internal, you're your own worst enemy.
Totally.
And based off of what you're like, I think that was the nice thing about like with Mike and Andy at Liquid Death, they're old creative execs.
Yeah.
Right. And they're just like, I'm tired of this crap. I see an opportunity in this market. We're going to take our spin on what we think as creatives and marketers. We're like, we're just going to create something that no one else has tried to create before in this category. And obviously they get used in the same tribe of, the Nikes and the this brand or that brand in terms of availability. But I wish more brands would take a risk, because at the end of the day, nobody knows who you are and they don't care.
Yeah.
You got to give them reasons to believe to care.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, that was so good. It was relatable. There's few facts, I think, in terms of like great work is like, is it memorable? Is it relatable? Is it going to get me to take action to at least go down to the funnel or like, oh, I never heard about this brand, but I'm going to share this because I thought about this person.
Yeah.
Or I'm interested in this thing.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, we're in the sea of sameness. It's the millennial brand craze of the 2010 to 2018. There's a sea of sameness.
Yeah.
And it was just like, throw your product in the sky, have the beautiful blue sky in the background, it's just like, I can throw any other brand. It's like, how's that going to be different?
Here's a flat lay, or
here's
a
this,
whatever.
or here's that.
And now we're starting to get into the Gen Z kind of, everything is looking the same, like, a lot more colorful and bubbly, and like eventually that's going to start to blend in everywhere else, know. And I think you nailed it on the head, where brands just need to take more risks. That's the word. It's different risk. It's the same thing, right? Like be different, be risky. We're talking one and the same here in order to stand out.
Can I narrow down the scope a little bit even more?
You may. You have my permission.
It goes back to Blake and what he was saying about the audience. The problem with traditional is its mass market appeal. Mass market appeal is dead. And I think that's why it feels so lame now, is because everything is so personalized for your interests. You go to the Super Bowl and it's like, oh, like this is just mass. They're trying to do mass market appeal, and it's never going to hit the same as something that's personalized for whatever unique group or subset you belong to in an audience. So the only way to take a risk is to draw the lines in your audience and say,
Totally.
this is who we're for, this is who we're not. And then this is what we're focusing on. So I think the next 10 years is going to be the rise of smaller brands. Like if you can really talk
brands,
to these subsets of the population, not mass market appeal. I think mass market appeal is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
But man, you can talk to people with foot pain and you can give really good messages and say, hey, I know my demographic of foot pain is going to be 35 to 65 plus, skewing older, but how do I make these older people feel young?
Yeah.
Exactly. And how do I do it in a way that's unique and stands out, so I'm not just like, come to the Goodfoot store. No, I shouldn't say that. No offense to them, but
No.
here's Dr. Scholl's. Like it's comfortable, so you can tell a new and take a risk with that audience that's good and different, but you can't really do that across everyone who buys shoes.
The thing is too is if you're everything to everyone, you're nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so that I think of like, there are some things that are, they're just generic, like broad appeal, casting that wide net. But if you're like with us specifically to that point of like, there is maybe it's me, but I think other people feel the same way. In the category of orthopedic shoes, it has we want to be the yum to the yuck of that category, right?
Yeah.
Because you look at people in their 50s now, there are people, that are active and, living their life. They might have fun. They're more and more, they're wearing, Nike Dunks, Jordans, they're wearing stuff we're wearing now, right?
Yeah.
And so as time moves on, that culture of that space of people getting older, they don't want to feel like, I want to still look good.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not going to throw my body, my life away just because I'm older. It's like, no, I like this. Like, and that's where like, with our audience being older, younger, like their kids and stuff are going to have an impact on their lives of like, oh, mom, this is what's trending. This is what's cool. And oh, I saw this brand because I thought of you, and it's super cute, but it also, it's trying to, the function and the style together. Yeah. And they're doing it in a unique way, and they're super cute and blah, blah, blah. Like that's going to be more and more happening, I hope, for us in the long run.
I like what you say, the yum to the yuck.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Because at the end of the day, if you're in a brand and you're not like feeling challenged, or if you're not like, if you're not having fun doing it, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? The thing at the end of the day is like, you have an opportunity to change a category. Half of it was luck, getting the right people for Kizik, True Classic. Like, not every experience is the same, and but the problems are a lot of the same, whether it's externally, the things we do, what we don't do. So that's always the challenge. But I agree with you in terms of like, it's easier to start a business now than create something sticky that's going to stand out.
Yeah, totally.
But
and I think the secret's personalization.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
because I think we just live in a decentralized world. Like that's what I was trying to figure out of like why nothing sticks anymore. Like if you look at the last 8 years, so we're talking about this in the office. Why is it that when Anchorman came out, seemingly everyone was like telling jokes from Anchorman?
Oh yeah.
Or Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Like no one does that anymore. Like there's no comedy movies that stick out. There's nothing, like the only cultural moment was maybe like Barbenheimer. And even that lasted for like a month. And so I think
Barbie Oppenheimer, just if anyone's...
Why do you think the movie industry sucks now?
Yeah. And I was going to say, so the movie industry sucks because, again, because of phones, social media, algorithms, whatever, however you want to call it. But I say it's just decentralization. Like pop culture is not centralized anymore. So pop culture does not come from MTV and it doesn't come from the movie. It's coming from all these little pockets on the web.
Yeah.
And so you cannot, like the mass appeal is harder, but if you can narrow down on these subsets, you can really take advantage of it. But, and there's still TAM, like I'm not saying you can't grow. Like Ridge Wallet's a great example of that. Like it's a men's wallet. their TAM's huge.
Yeah.
And you can always appeal to men at different levels, but like you're going to do that differently at 0 to 10 million than you are when you're at 100 to 200 million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I agree. Yeah, I wonder if the what will start to happen is instead of brands becoming $500 million, $1 billion brands, is you'll have business owners and founders who will own multiple $100 million brands that are going in lanes of people.
Different lanes.
Yep. Instead of just
One huge
business,
Yeah.
becoming a billion.
Those are going to become
company.
rare and rarer.
Yeah.
Like
I
those
think so,
footwear
too.
brands that are like, it's like Hoka. I mean, Hoka's been around 15 years.
Yeah.
Less around on running, but maybe around the same time. But not until a couple years ago they started hitting.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these times is just sometimes it takes time, cultural relevancy, just pop culture in general. Be like, oh, I'm seeing more of these shoes. There's mental availability. We're like, oh, those are cute. Am I a runner? No, but I'm going to wear it because they look comfortable or whatever it might be. And I think those are going to become rarer and rarer unless you have like a standout core differentiating product. Because at the end of the day, if your product's not good, nothing else matters. The experience, like you can have a great experience buying through the buying cycle, or like, oh, this is a great ad, blah blah blah. But if your product sucks, everything else is irrelevant. Yeah, I think. But
It's hard to gift wrap a turd.
Totally.
Well, it's easy to gift wrap
Unless you light it on fire and put it on
on
a porch.
doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thinking of Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. This has been great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where can people find you, follow you? Do you LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, just Blake Brown. Don't have a cohesive handle structure, so it's just what it is.
Okay. And Kuru Footwear is
KuruFootwear.com.
cool.
Yeah.
With a K.
Yeah, Kuru Footwear.
Awesome.
A mailman doesn't go for walks when he goes home. So
I've never heard that before.
There you go.
Well, when you said you don't have a cohesive structure, it's like a brand guy who doesn't have like a cohesive personal brand. So like, well, when you're working on other people's brands all day.
I'm too busy focused on other people's brands
That
versus
made
my own.
sense when you brought it in. I had
You
no
don't
idea
go
what you were
home
saying.
I was like, mailman, what do you say? Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining.
So it makes sense why you
'cause it
wouldn't.
worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worked well. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And go follow Blake. Go check out Kuru Footwear, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. If there's a brand, campaign, strategy, or marketing tactic that you want us to review, please DM me at the Trevor Crump on Instagram or TikTok, or at the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. And of course, if you got value from this episode, or if you like it whatsoever, please make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, you're following, and for sure, go leave us a review to let us know that we're doing a good job. We will see you guys next time.